Happy Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Oh, how's everybody doing? I am happy it's Friday. I have been looking forward to this day, to this Friday for the whole week, really. Just if you want to be truthful, for the whole week. So, TGIF, happy Friday. Well, I wanted to get on because, I wanted to get on now because I have a Christmas party to go to this evening, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So here I am. I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN and women's libido coach. And I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get their sexy back. And tonight, what we are going to be talking about is something called the orgasm gap. Now, there's a whole host of different things that there is a difference between men and between women. And what has been trending and what has come up recently is something called the orgasm gap. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I'm excited to bring some information to you guys and also give you some tips on how to close the orgasm gap, because it can be closed and fairly easily too. So let's get started. So when we talk about disparities between genders, we talk about things like the pay gap. We talk about work gap in terms of like household chores and things like that. But recently there was a survey done and a study done that said that in relationships where individuals are having sex, the man is more likely to orgasm than the woman. And I find that to be true in my work with patients and clients as well. A lot of it has to do with one, the idea that as a woman, you are there to be more of an object of pleasure than to be a recipient of pleasure. And so you don't even know that this is supposed to be pleasurable for you and that you are supposed to orgasm. Hey, Dr. Ferlandi, thanks for joining. I'm getting on early tonight because I'm going to a Christmas party, but I wanted to talk about how to close the orgasm gap. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy tonight's show. So again, there's a gap, there's a disparity in consenting adults who are having sex between the man and the frequency with which they are orgasming, and women and the frequency with which they are orgasming. And so they found that there was about a 59% difference in orgasm frequency. So obviously the men were having more orgasms than the women, and they just were looking at the data to see what was happening. And like I said, in my work, I hear about things like this all the time. So the first reason that I think is happening is just that women don't know that they are capable of pleasure and capable of having orgasms. Secondly, the other thing that comes up is just being unaware of anatomy and what points on your anatomy as a woman can stimulate orgasm. So most women are able to orgasm through clitoral stimulation, and not necessarily able to orgasm just strictly from vaginal penetration during sex. But there are other parts on your body that are capable of giving you an orgasm. If you were watching the show maybe a week or so ago, we talked about stimulating the nipples and being able to have an orgasm just from stimulating the nipples. In addition to the clitoris, there are other places within the vagina, on the outside of the vagina, the area called the vulva and the perineum, There are all sorts of points on your body that can lead to orgasm. You can also orgasm through fantasy or visualization with your brain, with your mind. So there's so many different points that can be stimulated in order for you to have an orgasm. So just thinking of orgasm being only possible with clitoral stimulation, or only possible, you know, with some sort of touch to the genitals, can also be contributing to this great gap between men and women having sex and having enjoyable sex, and both of them orgasming. A third reason could also be that when we think about touching other areas besides, having the penis go inside the vagina in terms of heterosexual sex, we think of all the other things kind of as the build-up or the foreplay, as opposed to the main event. And you can have stimulation of other areas to the point of orgasm, and that can be the main event. It doesn't have to be penetrative sex that is the gold standard, or what people define as sex. So sex and intercourse are not specifically the same. They are different. Intercourse being that there's penis inserted into the vagina, versus just sex, which involves all kinds of modalities. So oral sex, manual sex, there's vaginal sex or penetrative sex, either vaginal or anal. There's all types and all different ways of categorizing activities as sex. So just taking away that mindset that if it's not penetrative sex, that it is foreplay or not truly sex. And so those are probably the top 3 things that we see when we are talking about why there is this disparity between men and women being able to orgasm. So now we want to talk about ways that we can close that gap, because my big goal for what I do as a libido coach and as a women's sexual health specialist is that if there is a woman who wants to receive pleasure and to know about themselves and how their body works and be able to orgasm as much as they want, I want to be the resource for that woman. And so talking about the orgasm gap and being able to close that gap is bread and butter for what I like to do, what I love to do. It's my passion. So the first thing is just becoming aware that you are worthy of pleasure, you are worthy of orgasm, you are not just an object for somebody else's pleasure. When you are engaging in sex, that is also a time for you to receive pleasure. So that's the first step, just being aware and knowing that you can receive pleasure, and you should if you are having sex. The second thing that you can do is to get more comfortable with your own body. Get comfortable with exploring what feels good for you, what doesn't feel good for you, and just knowing the other parts of your body aside from the genitals that can be stimulated and give you pleasure. We talked a few nights ago about the difference between being sensual and being sexual, and just being in touch with your senses and being in touch with what feels good, what sounds good, what smells good, just getting all your senses involved. So just exploring, taking time to explore your body and know what feels good for you. The third thing that you can do is to use techniques or different supplements to help with increasing the sensations that you have. So there are different creams and gels and things that you can use, different lubricants that you can use that actually can increase blood flow to the genital areas and make those tissues more sensitive, and make it more likely for you to orgasm. So definitely looking into things like Zestra. They have certain passion creams and certain nipple creams that you can use that will help you to be able to increase your sensitivity in certain areas, so that can get you closer to having an orgasm. And then you can also use other different adjuncts, such as toys. The adult toy industry has grown tremendously, and there are now toys that are available that definitely speak more to women, and being able to stimulate them in a way that they weren't able to before. There are toys that are available for couples to use together, so that you and your partner can experience, a loving coupling that allows both of you to orgasm. So definitely you can look into those. And I think that probably, those are probably the top 4 things that I would recommend. Another thing that you can consider is, if you are having issues, especially relationship issues with your partner, you can seek counseling or therapy services, either alone or together, to help to resolve those issues, as those definitely can block your ability to get in the mood, block your ability to enjoy sex, block your ability to actually orgasm. So definitely, if there's a relational issue that's going on that you can't seem to, solve on your own, get out there and get some help. And then there's what I do, which is being a libido coach. I also help with other types of sexual dysfunction. So one of the 4 major types of sexual dysfunction is hypoactive sexual desire disorder. But another one of those disorders is either anorgasmia, which is an inability to orgasm. I would argue that there's kind of a continuum of that. So it's not either you can or you can't. I think there's some gray area in between, where sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And so, I help women in that area, in that arena as well. So just wanted to get on and talk about different ways that you can close the orgasm gap, because I want you to be able to have all the pleasure that you want. And I want you to be able to know that it's possible for you to have an orgasm and to enjoy sex just as much as your partner, if not more. So thanks for joining tonight. Thanks, Dr. Brandye, for inviting a few people on to the broadcast tonight. Great. I'm glad that you are not one who has that problem. But if you know somebody who does, be sure to share this broadcast and let them know that there is help out there. There's help available. And so I'm going to sign off because I had to get to that Christmas party. But you guys have a wonderful Friday night. I hope you have fun. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And if tonight's going to be the night where you try out some things, definitely, relax yourself. Maybe go out and get some of that special lubricant, or one of those special passion creams, and give it a try. All right. So I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN and women's libido coach, and I teach women how to get their sexy back and how to feel good in and out of the bedroom. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.